What it do? What it do? It's your boy Tony Anation, and we are back with another episode of Everything Young and More, the podcast. You feel me? Man, I always say this. It's become like a thing now that I'm bringing fire, that heat is in the building. But today, I believe that. You know what I'm saying? If you're joining us, don't know what the podcast is about, the podcast is about bridging the gap between the older generation and the young generation and the younger generation. But at the same time, the more part of Everything Young and More is stuff that we're sharing. People who have gone in front of us have dealt with or have overcome or have done so good at or have done terrible at that they're willing to share with us so we don't have to go through the same things. You know what I'm saying? You guys know we had Pastor Tony who came here and shared on relationships, and he touched on marriage from a very professional standpoint. And I thought it's only right that we have a couple, you know what I'm saying? A couple that has been through it all, you know what I'm saying? People who have struggled, you know what I'm saying? People who have almost, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, to come on the show and really talk to us, you know what I'm saying? Tell us about their love and everything. We're going to talk about everything. And thank you so much for rocking with us until now. 11 weeks of shooting is not a joke. Without further much ado, we're going to get into it, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know who wants to go first.
I'll go first. So my names are Sylvia Kiari, or most people call me Adaya. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I am an entrepreneur.
Ooh.
I'm also a content creator. I've been off for a little bit, but I'm definitely coming back.
Hey, it's good to take breaks. It's
Yes.
good to take breaks.
Yes. Yeah. So that's me.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, sir?
My name is Alfred K. A is for amazing. I'm a content creator. I'm also a minister. I'm a father. I'm a husband. And I'm also a firstborn.
Oh, wow, sir. And what do you do?
What I do is I'm an RN, a registered
Oh, you're
nurse.
RN.
Yeah.
That means you're making money.
I wish I was, but more so I deal with mental health.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my calling.
Looks like we're going to have to get him on another episode, you know what I'm saying, on mental health. You feel me?
Yeah, we got more to offer for the world. Why not?
Yeah. So let's get into it, guys. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to come and grace us on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
You know,
For sure.
it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Getting a couple over here to come and talk about stuff that is real life stuff. But I appreciate you guys for doing that. We're going to get into it. We're going to go back and start somewhere, right? How long have you guys been married for?
For like 4 years now. This is our 4th year. It's not a long time, but we're pressing on.
4 years.
Yeah, August will be clicking 5th.
5 years?
Yeah.
This
August.
wow.
2023.
I mean
Oh,
2023.
okay, that's crazy. That's dope though.
Right.
And you guys said you're father and mother, so I'm thinking you have kids now. Yeah.
Yeah. we
Two
have
girls, 3 girls.
No, we got
There are
2
5
boys.
No, we have 2
we
for
have 2
now.
boys.
Oh, okay. How old are your kids?
For now.
Oh, there's more.
Underline the word for now.
Yeah, there's more coming. And also, just not biological. We also have other children, spiritual, and we are thinking of adoption.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in future.
This sounds like breaking news. But you're breaking news. I didn't even know about that. But how old are your kids?
So our firstborn son just turned 2. And our baby he's 9 months right now.
Oh.
So yeah.
So you guys didn't even you were just
Back to
you
back.
wanna, you know what I'm saying?
Back to back.
If you had the
That's
opportunity,
what
I know
we
when
wanted.
it's too
that
sweet,
guy would be.
when it's too sweet, you have fruits.
Okay. Word, man. So let's get into it. And you guys said you've been married for 4 years. I wanted us, I'm somebody who's getting married soon. So I have some questions or things that I have been thinking about that I would love to start from there, which is, before you get married, you got to start thinking about like your, there's cultural stuff, but other than that, there's like your wedding and stuff like that. And that stuff is expensive, right? Do you guys mind talking about your wedding? When you were planning for your wedding, what did you do that went right? And things that you could have done better? Like if you had to go back again, you would do differently. Budget wise and all those things, because the people who are watching, they have no, I had no idea. But I know Freddie, so he's been helping me with that stuff like that. But like the people who don't have this type of connections with somebody who's done it before that can share that. Yeah.
I think personally, getting into the journey of planning a wedding, we did plan our own wedding. Or something I forgot. I'm a wedding planner too.
Oh,
Yeah,
word.
and the event coordinator. So planning a wedding was, I think, when we came to the dimension of actualizing, our dream wedding, it was more so. There's a lot of things we changed in between. We didn't stick to the official plan of, because, for example, I usually say this: girls usually have this thing in mind when they're young. How many people are gonna be on the lineup, and all that stuff. But after now, you bring two people together. Some things have to change.
Yeah.
But now looking back, the concept of yes, the wedding was beautiful. Up to now, I know and I believe even for a century to come, it's gonna be the most beautiful wedding ever to happen on earth. But also the concept, there are a few things we did change that looking back, I'm like, I would not have changed. For example, the people on the lineup, looking back, we should have just stuck with what you thought, and more of we added other concept to it, other people to it, that I believe we twisted it. Number two, the budget. I feel like we knew we were gonna get married.
Yeah.
And for me, I felt like it was more later, but we should have done it sooner, so that we start building ourselves since we're very young. But also putting a lot of money. I feel like that money should have been put towards like purchasing of a business, running a business, starting a business, putting a down payment for a house,
When you're saying that money, what money are you talking about?
So I'm talking about the money collectively, So for example, in the community that we are in, you call people, friends support, big times they come through, they support. But I feel like we should have just cut down on a few things to be left with a few money to spend during honeymoon.
Yeah.
Not that we didn't have a good honeymoon, but also that money should have been an investment. A part of that money should have been an investment.
I see.
But
If I get it right, you're saying for example, I'm just gonna put a number. Like if the wedding is like 50,000, you don't have to spend the whole 50,000 on the wedding. You can spend like 30 or something, and then like do something with the rest of the 20.
Yeah, so I feel like we budget all these things that are supposed to be just for one day. I feel like if we cut down, and that's true, if we cut down, that money can be used to something else. For example, putting money for buying equipment for something that you have always desired. Investing in a business opportunity that comes up. Investing in a house, investing in paying off a debt, something like that. But I feel like a lot of young people really focus on that big day, forgetting that is just a wedding. But marriage is what happened after.
Yeah.
For me, I kind of agree with what my husband is saying. It was more like the lineup issue where I wish I didn't pick up other people is because of this and that. Like, that's one of the things that I would have changed. If that was the question.
And I think it's cool that we're talking about this now because I'm having that challenge, right? So because it's coming down to like for example, I just did my engagement and it was in Bali, and I only took a few people to go there. And I know some people are asking like, why didn't you go with so and so? Why didn't somebody? But it's like at the end of the day, just because like everyone doesn't mean like everybody needs to be like part of that. And sometimes you feel bad because you're like, oh, if I don't bring so and so, but it's like, I think that's what growth is about. Like you're like, these are people that I hang out with. These are people I'm gonna do life with. And is that what you're saying now?
Yeah,
like you realize like you put so many people,
and it's like we're
now you don't even talk
together,
to them. Yeah.
So for me, I think that's one thing I would change, and also the spending. I feel like we honestly just put everything on the wedding, and it's like we forgot the life after the wedding. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then that's the wedding. Let's see. I kind of wrote some questions to guide and stuff, but that's what you guys would have done differently.
Also, Tony, before you jump into that, there's something that I feel like, just apart from the bride and the groom, arranging their wedding, I think it's something we need to speak to people, even other young people, the community, is that there's a concept of, what's the word? There's a concept for, I'm actually forgetting the word and I had it. entitlement. That's the concept. You see, we put so much pressure into other people's life. For example, I'll use you as an example. So when you say there are people asking you, oh, why didn't I invite you? See, those people are putting pressure on you.
Right.
So, and I feel like after growing up, this is something I've come to learn. It's not that I used to know, and I would want to enlighten other people. Personally, if I'm not invited to something, nowadays I don't take it as an offense.
Right.
You know, I should not feel entitled that I should have been invited. You know, it is an honor when you're invited, but if you're not, you should just agree with the other person who was doing the invite that it's okay. They did not invite you because you're less of a person or anything. But that piece of entitlement, I feel like, you know, a lot of people have gotten into it. They feel entitled they should be on the lineup. They feel entitled they should be called for a birthday party. But it's just a sense of entitlement. And I feel like we need to get to a place where we grow up and realize that apart from being entitled, there are other things to life. Whether you're invited or not, you should be okay with it. You should be happy for the other person. Right. That relieves the pressure of the other person. Whether you're invited to a wedding, whether you're invited to whatever it is.
Yeah.
We should not be at a place of getting comfortable and feeling that person ought to have invited you.
I think that's beautiful and timely that we're talking about that, because even when I go out and shoot or something, like somebody's going to ask me, when is my wedding? I can't wait to come. I can't wait for my kids to be, like, my kids are going to be on the line. Like, stuff like that. And I'm like, bro, like, why you telling me? It's like you're telling me your idea of what our wedding should be like. Right. And at the end of the day, like you said, you know, the wedding was more about your fiance at the time before you got married. So it's like, say my fiance doesn't want kids on the lineup, and then you're going to somebody's house and they're like, my daughter is ready to be part of that. And you're like, what are you talking about? Right. So it's good that you're bringing that awareness, because I see that a lot, especially in our community, where people get offended by stuff like that. And it's like there's so many reasons to why maybe you're not choosing to invite some people. Like, for example, I had somebody the other day who asked me, can they come to the wedding? And I was like, you know, actually, I'm cool with this person. But then they were going to like, oh, I can't wait to bring like my boyfriend. And I'm over here like, what? I don't even know that guy. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. So, and I hope even from this episode, people are going to learn, like, not to be offended, not to be taking things personal, because there's so many things to why people do certain things.
Yeah, because if you look at the bigger picture, Tony, the more you have more people in your wedding, the more the finances have to go higher. Right. So if you have, for example, for us, we had not budgeted for the number of people we had. So we had budgeted, I think, for 300. And we had to 500 to 600 people. Wow. Even we lacked seats. You know, you were there, you remember. Yeah. So that money that the extra people came, we had to go back to our pocket to cater for that. Yeah. Right. So that's what a lot of people don't get. If I invite you alone, it's you I'm inviting. If I'm cool with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your grandma, then you can come with them. If I send an invite to one individual, it should be for one individual. Yeah. You know, and I feel like, you know, that's something we need to continue preaching out there, continue speaking out there. Yeah. So if you're invited, and this is for your viewers, if you're invited somewhere and it's just you, make a clarity. Are you inviting me and my boyfriend, or it's just me alone? Yeah. And if they say it's just you alone, it's okay. Don't feel entitled. Be like, oh, thank you for inviting. And if you cannot go alone, then say thank you. I'll not be able to attend. Right. Yeah. And I feel like that is more genuine. And if you can make it to go alone, just go celebrate that person, and that's it. Don't put so much pressure on them, because if you bring 2 or 3 people, you are going to cater for that.
Exactly. I like that. And hopefully, you know, people pick something from the episode and actually do that. I think that's very important. So let's move on. You guys got married. How old were you guys when you got married?
I was.
How old am I now?
Oh, wait, they're gonna but you were both like under 30 though, like mid.
Before we got
married? Like mid or early for some people.
No,
is
shows are like a little kid.
No, I mean we were both under 30.
Like
sorry, under 30.
Yeah,
we were on our early's mid 20s.
Mid 20s.
Okay.
So for me.
For him.
For her, she was just very young.
A bit just underneath.
At first, I thought I was dating a kid.
Wow.
Story for another day.
So with that being said, what are the like advantages and disadvantages of like being married young, like at that age? And I know it's like not super young, but at the end of the day, people get married at like nowadays people get married even when they're older. But like, what are the advantages? Let's start with that of being married at that age, and then we'll get into the disadvantages.
I think having kids young to me, because that's what we wanted to have our kids when we were still, under 30.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's people, your plan, then yeah, it's an advantage. Like you can actually do that and not have to wait until like you're older or like you're 35 or 36 to have kids. Not that it's wrong, but for me, that's one thing that I thought was really
preference.
Nice. Yeah, and then another thing. Ooh, baby, you want to take over as I think?
So, number one, for me, I feel like you asked for the advantage.
Yeah, advantages.
So, for the advantage of marrying young is you grow young. You grow young together or you grow older together, if that's a word.
Yeah.
So, you get to a place where you're growing together, you're figuring things out together. That can be a pro and a con too. But on the advantage side is, you're figuring things out when you're still young. You're not old, your back is not hurting, you don't need to go see a doctor so many times. So I feel like that's number one advantage. Number two is if your plan is to have kids when you're pretty young, I think that also comes as an advantage because I've seen different families that have kids both when they're older and other families that have kids when they're pretty young. And I feel like our goal was to have our kids when we were pretty young, when I can be able to run with my son or to do anything with my daughter and just feel like I have the energy to actually catch up.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be at a place where I'm chasing my boy or we're playing soccer and my back is hurting and and all that. And also investing in ourselves when we're still young, just not waiting for when we have grown old, you've worked so many hours, you're just waiting to retire, you cannot travel. I just wanted to enjoy my marriage when I was still a youth, when I'm still, being able to see, read, observe, do all the crazy fun stuff, that life has to offer. I think that to me, those are that I can think of right now. Yeah. Those are the pros I can talk of right now.
What about disadvantages?
For
or
me,
did you have any more advantages?
I mean, he kind of mentioned running with the kids and all that. Like that's because before we got married, we were always told. Some people, I don't want to mention names, but we were told, no, I think you should have your kids young because look at us, we had our kids when we were older, and it's like the age difference.
It could be a disconnect too, right?
They wish they had their kids when they were a little younger because now it's like they're very disconnected. So that's one of the things that I would always remember before we got married, like I want to have my kids when I'm young. I don't want to be like this and that,
Yeah.
But the
disadvantages.
Yeah. Just cut that part.
I won't. But yeah.
Please do. But I think I don't have any. I really don't. I don't think I have any.
I know Freddie has some.
Do you?
Yeah. So
what is it?
I feel like one of the for me a disadvantage was when you marry young is you're still not mature enough or you're still not mature enough to be able to actualize you have another human being in the house. So I feel like once there's a disagreement or there's a misunderstanding, you're just up and running, you want to pack up and go. So that concept of maturity and being able to understand what is marriage is all about, because a lot of I think I've seen also part of my life, I as a young man is trying to figure things. When this one is not working, you want to jump to the other.
Yeah.
And that concept applies to also marriage. When I feel like a disadvantage is you figure out you have a misunderstanding today, you have a misunderstanding tomorrow, you want to pack up and go.
Yeah.
That to me, that is a disadvantage. But looking back, I don't see if there's any other. They might be there, but to me, that's one I can point
I was going to ask this because I know you guys. So, your fiance at the time was in a different state, and then you were a bachelor living life, you know what I'm saying? Doing whatever, having youth at your house every Friday. People are just that was a kicking spot,
Right.
And now you live by yourself and whatnot, and you enjoy that a freedom that you have, and then now you gotta accommodate somebody else, and then also with you, Sylvia, like you're living with your parents, you're not lived with a man. You know what I mean? Before,
Right.
like, how was that for you guys? Like, you know, having to like, okay, we are married, because you know we'll come to the wedding, turn up with you guys, and then we'll go home to our spots, and then you guys got to go to each other's like your home now. How was that? Was there like any challenges? Was it like, or things just were like we were meant for each other?
Yeah, I think we're a perfect couple. Everything. No, I'm kidding.
Yo, when you said that, I was like, yeah, maybe there was some, you know, disadvantages here.
Yeah.
But for me, it was crazy because my dad. I've lived with my dad, but I was like younger, so living here, like in Seattle, it was with me, my mom, and my sister. So there was like no man.
Yeah.
So coming, you know, marrying Freddie here, Alfred, it was really hard for me in the house because it's like we really never had a man just leave up the toilet like that, the toilet seat up like
these
that.
Are real. I would just hear about them.
And I'm just like, oh my God, like toothbrush, like just, you know, I'm not gonna expose you guys.
Go ahead, expose me.
But for me, that was the hardest thing ever because I would always be mad about it. But I mean, now we worked it out. Yeah. But that was one of the biggest issue we had for me, I think. Leaving the toilet seat. Every time I have to use a bathroom, I always have to put it down. Yeah. Or like, you know, wipe it after you're done. Because, you know, we are two different people. Yeah. So for me, that's the hardest thing that I had to deal with. Yeah. And also, he's like the youth, you know, I don't know, whatever
like,
it is.
Youth person or something
like
that. Yeah, like,
you know, which I have no problem with that. Yeah. But like, it had to, like, come on, like,
you guys cut us off.
Like,
she said, "No, I don't want them at my house."
No, it's just like because we before we got married, he used to live upstairs, like this apartment place. So he used to live upstairs. But when we got married, I said, I think we should move to another apartment, the same complex, but a different apartment, because I feel like then it's just like, you know, they're just gonna feel like it's Freddie's house. Like, we're just gonna walk into Freddie's bedroom. Like, it's, you know.
I see. So you wanted to kind of separate that from
like,
this is a new place. We can't just go to the bedroom like
that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So then it's funny because we moved from
upstairs to downstairs. Same thing. They just
literally, you know. But I mean, that kind of really helped. I think that kind of gave people an idea of like, hey, like, you know, Freddie's not just the same Freddie. Yeah. As in, you know, put some, you know, boundaries there. And it worked out. But I mean, Freddie, you can speak how you felt about that.
So me, I think I had the hardest time with it based on like you know my life. So Friday after Hepzibah night, that was the kick spot, you know, just doing barbecues and stuff like that. So I feel like especially the first few months, they were really easy on me. And I'll be quite honest, because nothing had really sink in, you know? Yeah. Me, I was just enjoying life, living it to the fullest. Yeah. And then until after, I think it was after our honeymoon. You know, one thing I usually tell people who are getting married or who seek counsel from us, I usually tell them, personally, I will not recommend immediately after the wedding rushing to the honeymoon. I recommend staying at home for a week or two, and then, you know, maybe the third week, the fourth week, go to your honeymoon. So that's number one. Number two, we were not even talking about the advice, the changes. So for me, it was after because our wedding was in Seattle. We spent a few nights in Seattle, and then boom, we were out for our honeymoon. And then, you know, we came back. You know, if you want to check our honeymoon, you know, I hit my wife's YouTube channel. You'll find it out there. We got to advertise this thing. But after that, so what happened is when we came back, number one, I felt not at ease. One, I stayed in this apartment for so long. So the rent was cheap.
Yeah.
So the rent was, and to quote the figure, actually, the rent was, I think, $900. It was $850 before. It was a 2-bedroom. Yeah. I kicked my roommate out. In California. Wow. So my roommate had gone, which was good. So I knew I was getting a wife. So roommate had to, you know, to dip. Yeah. So $850, and then, you know, when it increases, and it's in Cali, getting a
2 bedroom for
2 bedroom
850,
for 850.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Everything inclusive. You're not paying for water, no
That's
sewer,
crazy.
no gas. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So number one, the rent increased, I think, to 900. And then here comes somebody tells me, "Hey, I feel we should move." Me, I didn't see a problem with that house.
Yeah.
We had everything. All I wanted to do is clean the carpet, and that's it. Number one. So this is how things really started shifting. Personally, I would say up to date.
Yeah.
When I got married, I was physically, I thought I was ready. Mind, I don't think I was ready. Because marriage is something that our apostle continues, whenever we talk or whenever I sit down and hear him advise people. So marriage is a lot of consistent change, and you got to keep adjusting to it. So for me, I feel like, yes, a part of me had accepted, yes, I was getting married. But now the changes that started happening were really affecting me in a big way.
Yeah.
Number one, we just got married. You hear, like I was saying, one, somebody tells me, and this somebody, I'm talking about my wife.
Yeah.
By that time, she was somebody.
Yeah.
The concept of her being my wife had not kicked in yet.
Yeah.
So one, she's talking about moving to another location or different apartment. Back on my head, I'm like, there's nothing wrong. The bathroom in this house is working. The beds are working. Why do I need to move? The only thing I needed to move was my old couch that was really
that
That
couch.
couch needed to go. That couch needed to bounce, man.
the leather couch.
Right?
Yeah, that couch.
Now, I was fine with that. For me, my budgeting was just get a different couch. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's it.
She can even pick. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? But now she wants to change that. My dishes were really good. Now she needed, this set of dishes, and thank God for people who came through and bought us, gifts for wedding from registry.
Oh, that really came through.
So for me, I was like, and then looking at back, so for those who don't know our journey is, my wife was in Washington, Seattle, and I'm in California. So that's a long distance relationship.
Correct.
So me personally, the wedding was a big good for me because I'm like distant out. So we get to the house. She wants us to move. We get from the honeymoon. We start moving. The rent increases.
Well, how much better now?
The rent increases from, I think, 850 to 1,000 and something.
1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
no, 1,050.
Yeah, and then it continues increasing to 1,200 by that time.
Yeah.
So for me, you see, this is a big change for me. One, we had how many guests in our wedding? We gotta go back to the pocket and cater for this for those budget.
Yeah.
Now I'm here. She's in Cali. She doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
So my number one advice to people who are watching us, if they're in long distance, Tony included, please, if you are able to get a job before you move out here, it saves a lot when it comes to financial stability for the house, but also when you come to marriage,
Wait, my fiance, please highlight reverse, and then watch again.
But also you have to understand is the responsibility of a man who get to that, to cater for the house.
Yeah.
But personally, when it comes to the reality of things, I feel like if you're dating a long distance, get a job. You don't have to start immediately. You can tell them I'll start after 2 months, but you will have been hired. You've done everything else possible.
Oh, I see.
You have secured that spot. So that when you move, it's not a burden for both of you. Because now you're not feeding one, you're feeding two people. So we're moving to a house. It goes to 1,050. That's an extra money that I needed to spend.
Yeah.
So that was a big change of me. Number two, we are married. We cannot just have people like that, I'm like, I'm a people's guy. You feel me?
Yeah.
So my boys will not be coming over for Friday.
Yeah.
I can't even cook my ribs like that. But can you imagine? You know how we used to cook those pork ribs?
Yeah.
My wife doesn't take pork ribs.
Wow.
So we got to adjust to that. So months passed by, we moved to this house downstairs. One, I did not want to move carrying those things.
Yeah.
But she was gracious enough to keep our dining tables, our beds. Mattress was the other thing. Oh, we have to get a new mattress. We can't be sleeping on this mattress.
Wow.
So you see this constant change that are happening.
Wow, hold on. Let's talk about the mattress, babe.
It had beats.
No, this mattress was so hard.
Oh.
I couldn't sleep. Because I don't sleep on hard.
See?
But it was actually an issue. I really couldn't sleep.
Oh,
And
wow.
babe, I'm easy. But that
nobody's talking about you not
that
being
mattress
used.
was not it.
Me, I'm talking about the changes.
What?
Me, I'm talking about
The carpet, the mattress, the couch.
So you feel me?
Yeah.
We had to change the couch.
the couch though. Come
We
on.
had to switch now. Take the what is it called? The mattress to the guest house, so we get a new one. So to me, this felt like it was just too much change at once.
Yeah.
And I think change is very consistent when it comes to marriage, and I felt like that started affecting me personally, affecting me. And but two, we are from a wedding that my family were not able to attend, because of the dynamics of coming to the US and all that. I get to a place where going to the wedding, I'm crying, I'm just shedding tears because the reality of my dad is not even there, hit me so hard.
Yeah, because your dad was in Kenya.
Yeah, I was in Kenya. They were not able to get their visas on time and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that was affecting. So you can feel psychologically I'm being affected.
Yeah.
I come in, we have to change. Financially, I feel like I'm being destabilized because even the savings we had now we have to spend on just few things like beds, mattresses, couches and all that. I feel like as a young couple that are trying to get into this, if you can factor those things in that needs to be bought, that's very key. So fast track, I get back to work. Now I'm going to work. So the good part with this change, this was good. My wife would wake up to today. She still wakes up, makes my breakfast.
Wow.
Yeah. Up to date. A few times she has slept in, but I'm grateful for the journey of me. I don't struggle with breakfast. If I struggle with breakfast, I'll be lying.
No, we could tell you were not struggling after the wedding. We could tell by it.
So that's number one. Number two, breakfast. You've been to my house. My wife likes setting up dinner as if we are going, as if we have visitors. Every day is a huge setup.
Yeah,
like we have to have everything set up. There's spoons, tables, everything, like all the etiquette that comes with the dining. Like it has to be there. We used to eat in the living room. Who cared? You see, now this changes. To me, that was fine. I was fine with that. But now the biggest part was now I had to be accountable to somebody. With this, I say, I get to work. Somebody wants me to text them that I go to work. Who cares?
Yeah, why, dude? I've always been getting to work every day.
This became a really big issue. I even one time I called out. I'm like, you know what? I've always been gotten to work safe. Why is it a big deal to me that you need to know? But after getting much understanding. Much understanding.
A lot of
understanding. I had to agree, for her she was concerned, are you getting safe? But for me it was like, why do I have to tell you when I get it? If I don't get safe, you will know. They will call you.
They will call you.
They will call you.
Oh
it's fine. You see, so those entitlement was some of the things I was struggling with. I was struggling with just being, if I leave work, I gotta, hey, work was good. I'm coming home. I'll stop by Tony's house. I'll stop by Walmart. I'll stop by. I had to.
You got married, but you kept the same behavior as you.
So I wanted to get married and still continue living with my independence. Of I don't have. I can stop by Tony's. I can come to the house at 10. But you see, for now, because we're tied together, because we are one. She gets concerned, like, hey, you get off work. And, we work in the mental health. Anything can happen. So for that, to me, it took so many, let me say, I will not say it took a lot. It's not 1 month. Probably took a year or two to actually get to realize, I need to communicate. That was my biggest struggle of communication, and just getting to understand why I need to communicate where I'm at. Not that it was she was down to my throat like you need to, but to make her at ease, to make sure she understand I'm safe, I'm whatever I am. She did not care where I went, but all she was asking for was my communication. And I think those are some of the changes I need to adapt. Just to take one car to service, now I have to take two. Just trying to adjust to that level and just trying to be my man myself and do correct some of the things my dad did wrong, and also trying to be a man by myself and raise my own family. You know, so those changes really started navigating me. You know, started crushing me. Started like, you know, at some point I felt like, you know, I was being controlled, and it did not feel like it was right. But looking back after so many like just talks, so many educative, you know, stuff, I came to understand, no, it's nothing personal. It's just how marriages work. And I needed to adjust to it. But I just wanted to stay at the same spot and still keep moving. You know, you have started the car. The car is on, but you want to get to a destination, but you want the car to fly. But you still want to maintain the same behavior and the same attitude. That did not work.
Wow. And then, well, on that question, this is something I also asked a few podcasts back, but it's like, I mean, it sounds like it, but I'm gonna ask you. Look, the first 2 years, are they the hardest as they say they are? Like for you guys?
For me, I don't think so. I mean maybe the first,
you know what I'm saying, or months. For you guys, it's months.
I feel like
the toilet seats. For
me,
I gotta let you know I'm at.
But for me, I don't think it was the hardest. I just feel like maybe the first year because I moved to a whole new place. I don't know anybody, so that was a little challenging for me. Like trying to make friends and trying to know where, you know, where's Walmart.
Man, that's so crazy. Yeah, because Target. You're like coming to a place where Freddie's already known people because it's in his city. And then now you're like, I gotta figure out my way out here.
Right. Wow. So it was that was challenging for me the first year.
Yeah.
I think the second year is when I was like more like okay. Like I'm trying to be okay.
Yeah.
Like the weather is different. You know, everything is different here. So and then it's a small city. I'm used to Seattle's just big.
Yeah.
Here it's like I usually say Nikama Ushago. Sorry, it's like a village in America. I think they'd call it a village.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the first year was more challenging. Learning to live with each other, a whole man. Like, wow, that was hard for me.
Yeah.
What else? I'm trying to find a job. Yeah.
You remember that. The other one.
I just knew you guys would bring that up. Can we not talk about that?
We're gonna keep that as an inside. We're gonna keep that as an
I just knew. Anyway, finding a job, quitting one job. and going to another job. So it was really hard the first year for sure. And I missed my family so much. And I don't think we went back the first year.
Well, how does that like, is that, you know, like when you move out, because I know of relationships sometimes where if somebody moves out of their family's house, they want to keep going in and out. Like how did you guys deal with that? Like was Freddie okay with, like, did you want to go see your family and Freddie was like, no, don't go see them? Or how did that work out? Because I know some people
Sure shy.
Shy what?
Stop.
What do you mean?
I'll not go into details.
No, when we got married, okay, it was a little different. I just felt like, oh my God, my mom sees me as this like perfect girl, and now like I'm married to a whole man, like you know. But no, it wasn't.
Imagine what the mom is imagining.
She's thinking too far, man.
She was thinking too far.
I'm not going.
But that's not why. I mean, I felt like I needed to stay to try and like live.
I think that's very mature.
To start anew. Yeah. Like,
but you know, for her, Tony, not to cut her short.
Yeah.
For her, she's lived with her family for that long.
All my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like just a huge step for her to take. But you can go.
Yeah. So it was like trying to but like cut off the phone calls to less
minimal.
Yeah, because I didn't know how to like start a new life, and it's like I'm always calling my mom, I'm always calling my sister. We've never been separated with my sister at all. Like if it's coming here, we came together. I mean, it was so crazy to the point where my sister ended up in the ER the day before my wedding because she got like anxiety or something.
Wow.
But anyway, maybe we shouldn't put that.
I mean, it's part of it. You know what I mean? It's what happens.
But anyway, so it was really hard. I had to cut off the phone calls, just make it less.
Yeah.
Not go to Seattle. not that he said not to go.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
like
like
your choice.
I needed to
Even
to
where were the
actually-
finances to go?
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
that part. Oh my
you're-
god, and that part. Yeah, but I just needed to literally learn how to live by myself or like live without them. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So and I'm always like, I'm not the last phone.
Yeah.
But like here, it's like I'm like the
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
It's like they just treat me that way. So it's
Yeah.
like now I gotta mature up and
Oh,
like I have a
okay.
family, I have a husband. Like I have
Yeah.
to.
You're
you
doing
know,
it. You're doing it.
I have to do it. The thing,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
So what was the question?
No, we were talking about the first
The
1 or
first
2
one-
years.
2
whether
years.
they're-
So I feel like that's the lie of the enemy. The first or the second are not the hardest.
yeah.
For me, I feel like what I said earlier is the constant change.
Yeah.
If you're willing to change, it's gonna be a smooth ride.
Yeah.
You know, if you're willing to adjust, and I think I've mentioned this to you before. You know, a marriage is also about compromise. What are you willing to compromise? So I think for me, why I would say it was tough, not really hard. It was tough, because I wasn't willing to change. I wasn't willing to compromise. So it wasn't hard. It was just tough on me because I want to move, but I want to stay still at the same spot.
Yeah.
You know, there's no change that will be effective. So I feel like that is usually for most people. And also, it's not hard. It's just two people trying to live with each other and try to understand each other.
And I guess also how you see it matters. Like,
Yeah. So for me, I've always been on that notion of it's not hard. It's just how do you view it?
Yeah.
If you're willing to change, if you're willing to adjust, if you're willing to compromise,
Yeah.
without changing who you are as a person, without
Yeah.
changing your principles.
Yeah.
If you're willing to do that, it's gonna be a smooth ride. But if you're not willing to do that, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard on you.
Okay. All right, guys. So, wow, we have a lot. Like, there's a lot of content. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this video is going to be long, maybe the longest I've done. But I'm going to try to get it going. I'm just going to throw in a quick question before we continue. This is just random, but who's the spender in the relationship?
We all know who that is. That's me.
She said, no questions. Ask me.
That's me.
Now, because you see, it's something we have discussed.
Uh-huh.
It's something we know. We
We know. Yeah.
we know. So, and I feel like, you know, there's some things that, you know, people who are trying to get married should be honest with themselves. You know, how do they spend? More so, she's not really like a bad spender.
Yeah.
What she does is she'll go to and buy things that
You don't
That-
need.
that
don't
was not
need.
needed.
I mean,
So,
why do I even do
and
that?
and I feel like, you know, so we personally, I feel like before two people get to talk about like marriage and stuff like that, after you go counseling, after you do all that stuff, there's the reality of things.
Right.
It's good to come on the table and be like, hey, let me be honest, because people know where their weaknesses is.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's be honest. Let's talk about our finances. Let's talk about our credit history. You know, let's talk about all these things.
Yeah.
You know, so when it comes to spending, I feel like most people don't talk about it. Don't talk about their finances.
Yeah.
And it comes to hunt them after.
Right.
One of the things that I really learned during, you know, our courting, even before our marriage, and may her soul rest in peace. Manjeri, you know, taught me this. She told me when it comes to finances, bring all your finances to the table,
Yeah.
high income, your income, and discuss from there.
Yeah.
You know, but if that doesn't work, what we have done that has worked for us is, you know, you give other people the liberty to manage the finances.
Also, like the spender doesn't get any. They just
Yeah,
see what
the
is being
spender-
done, but
The
they try to
spender
take
doesn't
the
get
responsibilities away from them.
until they understand, and
Yeah.
you teach with love, you
Yeah.
know, and then you send them on a test. I've done a few tests.
But-
Some
but
have
If
backfired.
you've done a few, that means they keep failing.
The student is learning, but,
I'm really learning. I really think
I love
I'm,
it.
I'm
but
trying.
from this year, she's managing our finances.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He started teaching me how to, do
Yeah.
that.
That's cool.
Because I feel like after I've learned from a few people, and I'm not gonna go into names into this, but I've been at a place where if the husband is not there, if for whatever reason the wife will not be able to even manage the bills. So I think I took it upon myself to make sure, you know, I'm shaping my family to the right direction.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm teaching her on, you know, how we pay bills, how we pay for water, how we pay for electricity.
Yeah.
how we budget our finances, and from there, I think she's learning because she'll go to the store and actually come with what
Which
she
is
had gone
crazy.
to.
I will literally come with one thing.
Let's
Isn't
get
that
it.
crazy?
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
But that's good though. That's good.
She
Yeah.
stopped putting $20 gas and filling up the tank.
Oh.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, I want to also ask you guys, like, when it comes to conflict, very big word, yeah. How do you guys deal with that? And do you guys ever have, or you guys are, I know Freddie said you guys are perfect in the beginning, but are you guys actually perfect, or how do you guys deal with conflict?
Yeah, we just had one today.
Oh
Today?
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, what?
You really want
Was
to
it-
talk about
is it
that?
something you
Conflict is a part.
But I don't think it's a conflict. I don't think that's like a anyway.
As they discuss that, you see how honest this is. This is what the platform is about. Like coming over here and actually sharing like real life stuff, and that's why I love this couple because they're like put it the way it is. There's some couples who would be like, we don't do any fighting, never. But yeah, I like that.
Okay, go ahead.
No, she was saying it's not. We can call it conflict, misunderstanding, misinterpretation.
Yeah, we can put all that like in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever it is just
That's what it was.
it's conflict of ideas, interest. No.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have them.
And how do you deal with them too?
How do we deal with them is, I'll not say, we have never gone to bed angry at each other. I'll be lying to you if I say that.
Yeah.
But it's some of them we don't talk about it. You find we
Just
either
resolve.
forgot about it because you're living with this person. You need to talk. Maybe you want them to pass you a glass of water. You find you'll talk to one another. But the key thing I think is understanding. So one, for me, if I'm really hurt, I'm not the kind of person who really talks about how I feel, how I've been hurt. They bottle up, which is very bad, and I've come to understand. It's not good.
Yeah.
It is not good. So like understanding yourself, that's number one key. And also understanding your partner. So one, for her, she likes talking about things. Me, I don't like talking about them. Why should we talk about it?
Yeah.
For her, she wants us to talk about there and then. For her, she's she'll go cry about it. Me, I'm like, why are you crying?
Yeah.
So at some point, I think I offended even her.
Yeah.
Times I'm like, you really crying about that?
Yeah.
You see, but I came to realize I was minimizing how she feels. But I think understanding your partner is very key.
Yeah.
So for her, which we're still working on, and I'll be quite honest, it's that one has been a work in progress for all of us.
Yeah.
We talk about it tomorrow. Do we fall back? Yeah, we fall back and do the same thing over again.
Yeah.
But it's a constant thing I can talk about like our biggest, thing that we're working on, continually working on, is that finances. We have been able to deal with that. Trying to also raise our children. We're still working on that. But that part of conflict, I think it's more communication that needs to happen.
Yeah.
For me, there's a time she really wants to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I say, can we talk about it later? She wants to talk about it there and then.
Yeah.
Again, we go back to what I said before. Are you willing to compromise? Are you willing to say, you know what? Yes, I don't like talking about it, but for the sake of her, let me talk about it now.
So you're kind of also giving up yourself and what you like more, and actually going with what the other person.
Yeah, and there's also vice versa.
Right.
She sees you and like he doesn't want to talk about it. Let me give him a break. Let him go for a ride.
Yeah.
I just want to breathe. I don't want to talk about it. It's one thing. Communication is key. There's a time she told me I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I've also said I don't want to talk about it. You don't push yourself. You just allow the other person to be able to air out there. But we do have them. They happen. But we have never it's never gotten like worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the
To
point.
the point where she's. Have you
Okay.
ever been back to Seattle?
No, like whenever we actually like get in an argument or misunderstanding,
Yeah.
I don't think it was I don't know if we've talked about it as a decision never to like just, I think we did talk about it, never to just walk out. It's either like maybe we deal with it if you don't want to deal with it, like as in you're not supposed to just get up and drive, you know what I mean?
I see.
Like
Yeah.
it's that's just how it is with us. We don't pick up our keys and leave on my own pack bag.
Okay.
You go
So don't be like angry. you
and
know what
just
I mean?
leave, you
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
So we always come back and like talk about it later or maybe a day after that.
Yeah.
But I like one time I told Freddie, I don't think that just because we're arguing or we're not talking, we have an issue, we shouldn't like treat each other like just because of that I won't cook breakfast for you today. You
Wow,
know,
that's bold, man.
because it's like at the end of the day, you should separate your anger from your, what a responsibility.
I already like that. Like I don't know if I'm there yet. Like I think I would have to be in that situation to know if I'm there, because I feel like if I'm mad, you're not getting no breakfast. But
yeah. But I've always told him no. I'm gonna separate my anger, like, because it's like God wouldn't be treating you a certain way just because we're seeing today. You know what I mean? Like he shouldn't be like, wait until they get hit by a car today because they fell into lust. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't stop what I am supposed to do because of that. I mean, I know we'll talk about it later, or I mean, it might take time, but yeah. So that's kind of like how we do it.
So I tend to provide even when I'm angry.
That part.
Yeah.
I'll still go to work. If I need to buy whatever I need to do, I'll still have to do it.
That's
because it's my God-given responsibility.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and in 2 minutes, actually in like 1 minute and 30 seconds, can you guys let or tell me how you guys keep the fire burning? I know, even with conflict, like you can be, how do you make it work? How do you still make it work in like 2 minutes?
So in that short time, it's really hard to talk about keeping the fire burning. But what we decided when we got married is just the cycle of two. We have never invited a third party. So I think that has been able to maintain and to solidify who we are.
What do you mean by that?
We don't invite other people in our business in terms of like our relationship. I'm not talking about like our kids. That those ones, it's a community thing. Friends and all that.
We need to be there too. To raise them.
They say kid is for the village.
Yeah.
But for us, our stuff, it's our stuff, not other people's stuff. It's an A-B conversation. The other people can see themselves out. So I feel like that does not invite another third party to have an opinion in our relationship. I think that has continually built us. So you'll never hear so-and-so is talking about, Freddie and all that stuff, because they didn't know. If it happens and they found, yes, we have shared before, this happened to us a while back, this is what we did. But at that moment, we'll never invite you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Even our best couple, we have never. Until I think of late is when I felt like, you need to have too much of myself, and I called them.
And I'm sure even without saying much, you were in the wrong. I
was in the wrong. But you see, those are people we run to. Two is just finding other couple that you share, ideal situation, other people who will understand your situation, that can be able to give guidance. I think that for us, the keeping fire burning is just between two of us. We don't invite other firewood to light us.
Wow, so a party of two, don't invite other people.
For me, I would add that also dating each other, still dating, even though with kids, it's been a little hard, but still finding time to go out. If it's a movie coming out, if it's just going out for lunch, then, that's how you keep it burning.
I feel like for us, especially for, again, number one thing, when kids come, it's a whole different ballgame, And, they usually tell us that watoto kuja wanakujanga na sahani yao.
When kids come, they come with their plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they never told us the plates are empty. So when kids come, it's a whole different ballgame. So just finding that time. For the longest, I think, with what happened to our child,
Well, let's get into that. That's what I was going to ask you guys about. What challenges have you faced in your marriage, so that we can get into that?
Yeah, I'll get to that. So I feel like that did not even give us time to continuously date on each other and going out. But I feel like with this year, it's we have gone on a few dates, gone on a few movie nights, and that has been epic for us. So we'll continue doing those,
Yeah, guys, you got it.
Vacation.
You're almost halfway there.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't go with the babies, but,
We had gone on vacation.
Yeah.
Wow, where did we leave our kids?
Shelly. It's always Shelly, bro.
Big
Shout out to Shelly.
Shout out to Shelly.
She really comes through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just make sure you cash up her when the episode drops. To,
Yeah.
you know. I got you,
Auntie
Shelly.
and nephews are waiting. Cash up.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was gonna ask you guys what is the biggest challenge, and obviously I know, but for people who don't know, what's like the biggest challenge you guys have faced in your marriage, and maybe that's not even what I know. So, like, we might find out it's not. You know.
I think for number one, finances, been a big challenge.
What does that mean? Like,
Because one, for me personally, with my desire and our desire, let me not say my desire,
yeah.
was we just wanted to raise our kids by ourselves, you know. Not taking them to a grandma to raise them. We just wanted
I see,
to actually raise them, you know,
yeah, be involved
ourselves.
yeah.
So just being involved, you know, just raising a generation right, you know. Just trying to looking at other people's mistake, and we're just not wanting to fall into that place.
Yeah.
If you want to take them anywhere, it's a daycare that actually teaches, you know. So that, you know, we had prepared a journey, you know. Good news, we were pregnant, and then for me, I'm still pregnant.
Yeah.
But got a baby at a premature baby. I'll not go into details in the weeks, but pretty young, you know, pretty young. So that like really shifted our minds. That shifted our mind. If there's a time I think we would have broken up,
Yeah.
as a couple, was that time. It was just so tough.
You mind going in a little bit of details so that.
Yeah, so we got our baby at 24 weeks. You know, so
Oh, that's very, and you're supposed to have a baby at what? Is it 36?
40.
40 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's even
like close to half.
close to half.
Yeah.
You know, and going through brain surgery, heart surgery, like just so major surgeries in life, you know, that really shook our marriage.
Yeah.
And if there was a time that we needed to be either strong together or separate, was that time. So I think that was the biggest shake of our marriage, is because one, you've been blessed. Something that ought to be a blessing, it's making you cry. You know?
And this is your first baby.
This
right?
is our first baby. Something that you ought to celebrate is now being tearful. But, you know, I feel like God was preparing us towards that journey. It's quite a lot of people who did not understand. And, again, I didn't expect anybody to understand. But, one, we needed to stick together and fight strong. Because we were just not fighting. We were not fighting for the baby. We were fighting a system. A system that where it talks about, you know, child like those, they suffer a lot. Because I remember our first night, you know, when her water broke, when we rushed to the ER. I remember when the doctor said, they were sitting us down and giving us what to do. They told us, you know what, there's no need of you guys bringing this baby to the world, and the baby will suffer. So I asked the doctors, you know, what do you recommend? The doctor said you can have the baby, hold them until their last breath.
Yeah.
So you feel, you know, that really shifts your mind. One, we're not like 20 years marriage. This is like a young marriage. And now I have a stress. Added on another stress, I have a wife that this is our first child. It's shaking. Yeah. You know, so I feel like that was just one of the biggest shake of our marriage. Up to today, we are not healed yet. Yeah. We still go through those traumas, you know, but we're working slowly but sure, you know, we'll persevere. But I think that shook us, now bringing the baby home, you know, just that journey. The baby was in the hospital for 6 months. Yeah. You know, just, you see, finances were also shaken there.
You're probably not working as much.
And I'd quit actually my job.
Yeah.
I'd quit my job because I was expecting another job. So you see, that like really shifted, you know, our mentality, our journey, you know, with trauma and like everything that comes with it. You know? So I feel like your question was, what's our challenge?
Yeah, like the biggest challenge.
The biggest.
I think I'm going deep. Yeah. I think that was one of the biggest challenge we had.
Yeah. Is that the same to you, Sylvia?
Yeah, that's the biggest. But the crazy thing is, I mean, as big as it sounds, it's like it didn't break us though. You know what I mean? Like we were more closer than.
Oh really?
You know, yeah, because we I think because we spent so much time together that time, because it's always like we're in the hospital every day, and it's like all our focus was on the baby.
Yeah.
Even though like we were really like it broken inside, it's
Yeah.
like we had to be strong for this little baby, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't think like it broke us, but it did shake us a little, you know?
Yeah.
A lot, actually, not a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
Lot, you know. It's something still like Freddie said. We're recovering. It's, you know, it's trauma, you know, but we're definitely working on it. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah,
more,
but I was gonna ask
it's
you
starting to get emotional.
Sylvia though, because you see, like, you're expecting your first child for the first time. You're about to be a mom. You're married. You know, I'm sure you had a dream, like, oh, and now, did you know that it was gonna be a boy before that? Did you know?
No. Oh wow.
It's a crazy.
It's a crazy
we had
story.
not even. We were planning for a gender reveal the following
Ah,
week, so even we didn't know the gender of the baby.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see,
he had the envelope.
Up
that
to today,
says
I've never
that-
opened
I don't
it.
even think you've ever
Wow.
opened it. Yeah. So it
Still
was
somewhere. I
supposed to-
remember where it is.
what if
Yeah.
he says girl?
And so he was supposed to know
Mm-hmm.
and tell my sister, so they would plan a baby shower,
Oh.
like a gender reveal.
Yeah.
Sorry. So that's So we didn't know
That's
until
crazy.
they, like, you know, the baby came out and it's
Yeah.
like it's
I remember
a boy.
they say it's a boy. I'm like, oh really?
Me too. I heard that. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It's a boy. Okay.
Yeah, but I was gonna ask you, Super, like, you know, like, as a mother, like, you're about to be a mother for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You're having a baby, and you're having a baby prematurely. Like, how were you feeling at that time? And I know that you're not. I'm not saying. I know your case is different, but there are also people who go through the same things and they don't know how to cope. Because I know we even shared a story. I think one of your friends had a similar story and stuff
right.
like that. And how were you feeling, and how did you cope with that? Like, even after, like, you know, getting the baby, having to be in the hospital, and then, like, what the doctors are saying too.
For me, it was okay. It was hard, but sorry. Can you repeat your question again?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to. Yeah,
How are you coping with that?
Yeah, how are you, like, handling everything at once? Because I'm thinking there's a way you thought things should be, and then there's a way things are going, and then, like, how did you manage to go through all that, the emotions, and, like, what you thought what should be, what it is, and I think that, because I don't want to judge you, but you look better. You look like, you know, you can talk about it and stuff like that.
Right.
So I want to know how that journey was for you, and even people who have faced similar journeys, or maybe one day they will, can kind of, like, pick out something that can help them.
Okay. So it was hard for sure. And I didn't know anybody that went through it before.
Right.
I didn't even, you know, you hear in the movies, you
Yeah.
know, like preemie babies,
You're like, that's
premature
not gonna-
babies, and it's
that's
like,
them.
you know, it's a movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's there in real life, but you really you don't know, you know,
Yeah.
until, like, you actually go through it. So for me, I didn't really have anybody to, like, run to, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know anybody. So it was very hard. It was challenging. Sometimes I feel like I still have to, like, actually talk about it, because I've, like, the other day one of let me just say one of my friends.
Yeah.
One of my friends came over and we were talking, and, like, I started talking about it, but, like, I couldn't finish talking about it because I started getting emotional, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I've not healed from it, which right now I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe let's not talk about it. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I don't know how to go about this here, because my expertise of.
How do I even answer that without crying?
But I think, you know what? I think it is part of the story. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Like, it's just up to you, because I don't want to force you to maybe say something you don't want to, like, say with crying. But I think it is part of the journey. Like, Yanni, it's like, even when I talk about my burns at some point, when I think, like, my birthday, I was with, like, Kevo and them, like, in the car, and I was looking at my pictures, and, like, this is me by my, like, on the side like this, and I'm looking at my pictures, and, bro, I just started crying, and I was trying to, like, keep it low key so they don't see me, so I was like this, and then I didn't have a tissue, so I just was, like, trying to be like this, and then tears, like, just started coming out, and I'm like, bro, why am I crying? And then funny thing is, Kevo, they ended up finding out, man. Because it got to a point where I was like, you know, with the thing, and then they didn't know what to say to me. They were just like this. Like, Kevo told me, like, after and stuff like that. But when we were going through it, like, I just was like it's so crazy because now your child is 2 years old. You know what I'm saying? And the doctors told you that at some point, you know, you need to kiss the baby, hug them because they're not going to be able to make it. When you see that, for me, I look at that, I'm like, bro, this is what God has done type of thing. And it's hard to not be emotional because what they said versus what's actually happening is so different. Right. You know, and it's like, it takes me back to even when I was like, I got burnt and I thought like I would never be married. That was my first thing. I was like, I looked in the mirror and I looked and I was like, yep, there are no chances. And then now when I'm looking at like, I'm starting to plan a wedding. Right. I get emotional because I'm like, man, what God can do, like no man can do type of thing.
Yeah, sorry. Let me try and answer again without crying this time. I don't want it out there like that. But anyway, what should I pick up? What was I saying?
How do you?
How do I?
You're talking about how you dealt with it and how like.
Yeah, but it was challenging. How I dealt with it was, honestly, prayers. Talking to my mom a lot, my husband. They were really big support. I mean, I'm sure he's also dealing with it. I mean, he's also the dad, you know.
Yeah.
But just talking to my mom about it, talking to Freddie, as in that's, you know, it helped. But I feel like I still need to heal from it because it's something that it's still, you know, in me. It's still a trauma. But that's you can put it that way.
I think one of the things that you do, I don't know if it's conscious or subconscious, like you would see your baby, like you're overprotective. I don't know if that's because of, you know, you're like, oh, the doctors, we almost lost this baby. And now it's like, no, I need to keep this baby with me like throughout.
I mean, I don't want him to grow up thinking like to not, you know, we're just trying to, like, we don't want him to do anything.
Yeah.
But I think I'm like that with both of my kids. I don't think it's just with him.
Yeah.
What? Just say it. I really think it's both of them.
I need to clear.
Yeah, but I think it's with both of them. I'm very protective of both my kids. I always want to know where they are. Like, I think it's a motherly thing. Yeah. I don't think it's just me, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's different for men. How he treats them and how I do it is just two different.
But I think that's like, even with African parents.
Me embracing giants in the house.
It's a thing too. But to wind up, I wanted to ask you guys.
But also, Tony, before you head to that point, I feel like anybody who is trying to get married, a big key to really talk about is how you're going to raise your kid, your style of parenting.
Yeah.
I think for us, it hasn't been easy. Our style of parenting is very different. For me, personally, I believe I know what the boys really need. Yeah. My wife doesn't feel like it. Yeah. I feel I know how much they're supposed to eat. Yeah. For me, I feed my kids. Yeah. Those men can eat. Yeah.
Well, my wife can eat when you feed them.
when it's me, it's different.
Yeah, but kids are very smart, and this one I'm even telling my kids. Personally, they're very smart. They'll play you. Oh, yeah, so I feel like talking about parenting style, it's really key. How you gonna raise your kids? If we have boys, how you gonna raise them? Yeah. If they have a mistake, how you gonna treat them? You know, who is gonna be, you know, disciplining the kids? What's our style of disciplining? What schools are they going to go to? You know, who do we leave our kids to? Do you trust this person? Do you trust this person? Can we leave the kids to this person? I feel like that's a concept that a lot of people neglect, and then back it comes to hand. So first-hand information. This is something we are learning in the process of, hey, who do we live with so and so? Right. Feel like they can be trusted. Have we tested their trust in kids? But because for me personally, I can leave my kids with my friends. Not anybody. With my friends. But my wife doesn't feel like that. So I have also to agree with her. Do I think she's right? No, but I have to agree with it, you know. But also, if personally, I believe if you can leave your kids to anybody, those people you leave your kids to are people like you can trust 100%. Right. Man, in this world, we hear of cases, we hear of scenarios of where kids go through a lot. That's not subject. I would want to subject my kids to, you know. So shout out to our babysitters.
Yeah.
You know,
All of them.
all of you guys.
Yeah. Okay, bet, man. Yeah, the last question.
Also, Tony,
go ahead.
I know I'm cutting
He said I
you, but
got
it's something
fired.
I remember. But also in that journey, it wasn't just me and my wife. There are people who really stood with us.
Alright.
You know, after, because we never like really shared with a lot of people, but the people we shared with, they stood with us. After we came out, you know, talked about him and all that, there are people who really stood with us big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I can name individual, but there are people. But also there are people who never understood.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do about that. They never understood, and that's it.
Yeah.
We're not even probably we're not even friends anymore because of that
And
issue.
that's the craziest thing. I think we're so emotional, or we're so like, how come you didn't tell me type of thing. But at the same time, people forget, like, you're also dealing with that stuff yourselves. Like, you're not thinking I need to let so and so somebody. I'm thinking I just want my child to make it. I want to like have our family together.
Right.
And you're not thinking about, and then when you tell somebody about that, they're like, why didn't you tell me? You know, we could have prayed. And it's like, bro, why are you thinking about yourself?
Yeah.
When people are over here thinking about, and I think also in our community we have a lot of that, but it causes you know, you have to be mature. You have to be mature about these things. You know, if people tell you, cool. If they don't tell you, you don't know what people are going through to why they should tell you.
There's
And I hope
somebody
that
who
we can be like better as we move forward as a society too.
there's somebody who asked me, why didn't you tell them? And then I asked them, what would you have done?
Yeah, what was the answer? They got quiet. Huh?
They got quiet.
Yeah, man. So sometimes like we have to be think about the things that we say, things that we ask people, and how are they making a difference? You know,
Going back to what, like I said, like right now, I'm learning not to feel entitled.
Yeah.
If you are sick and you tell me after you got healed, I'm fine. Like
Yeah.
nowadays, I'm really like
okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Like I came to understand, like people are going through a lot. They're dealing through a lot. You're not the person they're thinking about.
Right.
when They're
Right.
going through
A
whatever
lot,
they're
Yeah.
going through.
Can you imagine?
So if,
You're too entitled with stuff like that.
can you imagine,
That's
like you're
crazy.
sick and you're thinking about, like, if I get healed and I did not tell Freddie,
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's
then
like, woo.
I've
Yeah.
lost the friendship there. Now let me text them.
Yeah.
No, it
You
shouldn't
text
be like
so and
that.
so. It shouldn't be like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm feeling like, you know, I'm getting to that place where I'm understanding. If you
Yeah.
can't tell me 3 years later, you know, a few years ago I was dealing, I'm like, yeah. I'll ask you honestly, like, why didn't you tell me? You know, I think I would have been there for you. I would have done A, B, C, D. But I'm learning to respect people's decision when it comes to that.
True.
That's good, man. And I think that's what we should all honestly do, you know. And I think that's what we're doing. We're investing in our generation right now,
That's
and
Yeah.
hopefully that our generation can be better and understanding. And I think we are. I think some people still catch when you don't do certain things or you
Yeah.
don't tell them certain things. But at the end of the day, you have to be mature and be past. Like, I can still talk to you even if I didn't invite you to my wedding.
That's
I didn't
true.
invite you
Right.
to my
Right.
pre-wedding or whatever, my honeymoon, whatever I didn't invite you to.
Yeah.
just be cool. Like, we're still, nothing changes, you know. And you can still call me for your kids. Don't feel like because I didn't call you for my wedding, I can't come to your kids' birthday party. You don't know what the dynamics were
That's
for
true.
the wedding and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I appreciate you guys for sharing that. And I wanted to ask you, what are some myths that you thought about getting into marriage that like are there or don't exist? Like, you know, you come into marriage, you think certain things. Like, for example, the
have
2-year
I
thing.
feel like I know
you
what you're
guys
going to
obviously said
say.
it wasn't that. So what?
Let's start with her.
Okay. I don't know. Let's start with you first.
Yeah, me, I thought I'll have sex every day,
That's
everywhere.
the one. That right there.
Yeah, I thought I'll have it everywhere.
Yeah.
When I wake up, I'll have it. When I'm having lunch, I have it. When I'm having,
You telling me it's not true? Because that's where I'm at right now.
No, I think also it's not true. Your body does not.
Allow you.
Hey, probably there's somebody who has it every minute.
Yeah.
But you have times to do everything, all the other things too. So I feel like that's a myth.
Yeah.
That usually, you know, that sexy. Yeah, sex plays a big role. I've been told it's 80%. I'm yet to judge.
We only
how
have 4 years of experience. Let's give it 10.
I'm yet to know how they calculate that percentage.
Yeah.
But I think that's a myth, and I cannot like really quote on different myths that I've had. Can
Yeah.
you point out one that you know probably?
No, see that's what I was saying. The 2-year thing, like 1 to 2 years, that's the hardest part of the
No,
relationship.
that's
You
a
said that
big
wasn't-
myth.
Yeah,
That's-
and then now it's
Even the
just
first
sex
year,
thing.
it's a big myth.
Yeah.
For me, it's more of adjustment. You know, yeah.
Okay, so you know how the movies are? You know,
Yeah.
when you're crying, your person is supposed to come and be like, oh, it's okay,
Okay,
babe.
come on, we're gonna-
Like, they'll come behind you if you
Yeah.
leave the, you know,
They chase
sorry.
you in. Come on, please.
Yeah, it's a lie, bro. That does not happen.
There are people who follow. Just say
Really?
me, I
Oh,
don't.
in our relationship, Freddie does not run after me.
You
I'm
even
like,
come back to check him. Are you not coming?
Ebu, imagine she lives here,
Uh,
goes to cry somewhere. I was here. Like, cry from
just
here.
put your knee next to
Mm.
Yeah,
on my
so
chest. That one I
that's
allow.
definitely a myth
Yeah.
in our relationship. What else? I
No,
mean,
I mean, that's good. You don't have to force them if they're not. You know, I think it was just kind of like,
But there are very many out there. We
Oh,
might
yeah.
not be able to quote them.
yeah.
There are very many that have made other young people shy away from marriage. You know, there are many abusive fathers that have made a lot of young people shy away from marriage. There are
Yeah.
many abusive mothers
Yeah.
have made a lot of young girls shy away from marriage.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of myths. So I wouldn't say, oh, listen to so and so. And there are a lot of experts out there, you know, when
yeah.
it comes to the issue of marriage, tell you this is how you're supposed to treat, you know. You
Yeah.
only figure your husband, probably they like you washing their feet. There are people who don't like, you know. So you figure out your person and you
Yeah.
know what works for them and what doesn't not work for them.
right.
Well, guys, that's all I had for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to Everything Young and More and willing to share your story and even letting us inside your marriage. I know we didn't get too deep, and I like that because you also got to keep your private life private. You got to keep, don't invite, it's an A-B conversation. I just need to see myself out of it, you know, like you say. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you guys so much for even making the time to come over here and share with the young people. Yeah.
When are you having us next?
We'll talk. I know you guys are loaded. I know we even talked about another topic. You said you're a mental health expert or something, like you're in the field. So we'll come back. We'll have you come back and talk to us and talk to the youth. You know, see what we can help. So thank you guys.
Yeah. So
welcome.
go out there, get
Anytime.
married again.
Go out
I'm
there
not
and get
done.
married.
Go out there and get married. But if anybody of your viewers want to reach out to you and they have any more questions, they can hit you up. They can hit us up. We're more than happy.
Oh yeah, I'll drop you guys like Instagram tags.
Yeah,
and then-
senior Fred, you feel me? Yeah, but anyway, whoever wants to whatever it is, you know, we're not the experts. We might not know, but we might seek. But the one thing is, husband have the greatest responsibility. I know we did not get into the depth of that.
Yeah.
But I feel like responsibility is another subject you can bring to the table.
Talk about that.
And the responsibility of a man, you know, that can be a
that's a good
topic you
one.
can you can bring up the
Yeah, because I
responsibility.
think nowadays, even like raising the younger generation, there's a lot of things that are not taught. Like people just assume we know, or things that you know. But until you get into it, you're like, you start having problems, maybe even in marriage and relationships. But the things that you just need to be told as a man. This is what's required of you.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know.
Because you know we have different young men out there who never had father figures.
Yeah.
Who never have what we have.
And we shouldn't just expect that.
We should not expect they know. We should not even assume they know.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of assumption there. But anyway, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
It's been an honor.
Yeah.
With the Curious.
We love you guys. We
Yeah.
love this,
Yeah.
podcast.
Keep doing what you're doing. It's right.
Yeah.
Thank
we
you.
Love it.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you so much. This is episode 11. After this one, there'll be one more, and then we're going to take a break for a while to start loading for season 2 because it's going to be heavier. If you think this was heavy, we were just scratching the surface. So we're going to be coming back with season 2 after that. We're going to be dropping one more episode after this, and that will be it. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this podcast, and we hope that you have gotten something. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. A lot of you are not subscribing. Make sure you subscribe. I know a lot of you guys, when I see you, you say that you're watching the podcast, but let me see that in the numbers too. It does a lot for the channel too. It helps it grow, and share with your friends and family. Until next time, be blessed.